morning. Welcome to WHW webinar series. My name is Alice, the Business Manager in eLearningMice, and I'm your host today. Before we start, there are a few housekeeping I would like to address. Please check to ensure that your name listed in the webinar is correct so that we know who you are. Be patient if there are any technical glitches. Stay participate and you can use the chat room to interact with all of us. If you have any questions for our speaker, post it in the chat box and we will try our best to address all of the questions at the end of the session. Last but not least, please remember to engage, learn, and enjoy. So our topics for today is Articulate 360 Training Preview. In this webinar, you are going to have an overview about this training. What is it all about, the flow, some of the highlights, and what would be the learning outcome for this training. And I'm honored to have our expert in this webinar today, Elena Lim, who is the certified trainer for Articulate. She has more than 10 years of experience in developing e-learning content. With more than thousands of participants that she has trained, now a lot of organizations able to produce their DIY e-learning content for a more sustainable way. So without further ado, let's have Elena.
Articulate 360 Training Preview. Date 4th November 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. This training is for trainers, L&D practitioners, instructional designers, and more. We will teach you from basic to expert level, using a hands-on approach, and we will use blended learning too. Apply the skills you've learned. Articulate 360 can help with storyboard creation, and after this, you can just DIY it. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, so thank you Alice for introducing me. So today our topic is training preview. So what kind of training? Articulate 360. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, these are some of the feedbacks that we have gathered through the experience of our training, the participants itself. So some of the statements that they have put, which is good in explanation, SCORM, what is SCORM, LMS, okay? So sometimes animation, free template samples, the tips and tricks. So all these things, why would they say that? Okay, so let's jump into it. Now, before we jump into it, what is Articulate 360? So Articulate 360, you have the whole suite of products. That means 8 different softwares. That goes with Storyline 360, Studio 360, Replay, Pick, Articulate 360 Training, Review 360, as well as Rise 360. Now, some of the softwares, they are install-based, that means client-based softwares, and some of the softwares, that means they are web-based. So basically, it is an award-winning software. Okay, it is a top 5 around the world, and many industry you are able to use it. That ranges from manufacturing, distribution, retail, or even training providers. Banking and financial institutions also make use of it. Okay, so now whatever industry you have, definitely you can make use of Articulate in order to create your own e-learning content. Now, next thing is that why we have 9 million over course assets, because is that course assets is not limited to templates that are ready-made, okay? So meaning that sometimes you want question-based, so you download it and you are able to make use of it already. And plus, it also have even scenario-based, title entrances, and plus also you have characters that are photographic, modern illustrations, and classic illustrations with different poses, different expressions as well. Okay. Plus, under the content library, you also have images to search for, illustrations to search for, videos even to search for, even icons. So all these things that include within the 9 million over assets. So now, we call Articulate 360 as an end-to-end solution. So why we call it end-to-end is because we start off with the storyboard. Based on the content that we receive, we create the storyboard using Articulate Storyline or Rise 360. So that's where once we want to review with the stakeholders or subject matter experts, that's where we use the Review 360. They are able to feedback to us. Once they feedback to us, we change the content some parts of the content we fine tune, we enhance. Then after that, we also enhance basically based on the interaction to make it more engaging, adding narrations, adding animations, improve the graphics even. So that's where the construction takes place. So once after that, we pass through the review again. So that's where it is an end-to-end solution. Okay. Now, of course, the final product is definitely the SCORM compliant. This one is an industry standard based on the e-learning. So if you want to know more, you can get in touch with us to, we won't dive deep into it. Okay. So right now, we actually move on. Now, the next one is that we move on into Storyline 360. Now, what is Storyline 360 to you? Storyline 360 is an award-winning software that is an install-based software. So you are able to create interaction-based, scenario-based, even game-based learning, okay, even quizzes. So all kinds of quizzes that you may have, okay. So it is simple enough for beginners like myself. I'm not a technical person, so it's simple enough for beginners like us, lecturers even. If you're wondering whether institution can use, yes, no problem. And plus, it is also powerful more than experts, okay. Now, powerful enough for experts, meaning that designers, programmers, they'll be able to use it, okay. Like all of us, we are content developers, so bear with us, yeah. Now, next one is that we want to also share with you certain samples, like you can create interaction-based, okay. So this sample itself, sometimes you want learners to explore. Okay, explore, that means you don't just give them the information. Learners will start to explore certain information. They find certain information, they uncover certain beach or certain sand, and then they'll be able to download that information. So later on, I'll share with you. Now, this is interactive video. All these things we use Storyline to create. Interactive video means that we pass you the video, okay? Sometimes 3 minutes down the road or 5 minutes down the road, you want to pose certain questions in. The learners will actually attempt to the questions, then continue with the video. Or sometimes you want to post additional information for them to download. So this is where interactive video is actually good for them. Okay, so these are certain samples. And plus, you can create scenario-based lessons as well. Now, scenario is a good way to actually engage with your learners. Why we say that? Now, based on the Bloom's taxonomy that you have 6 different levels, remembering, understanding, and blah, blah, blah. The highest level is evaluation. Okay. Now, what scenario-based lessons can reach is under the evaluation stage. Why we say that is because learners will attempt to the questions so that they are able to apply the lessons learned into their workplace. Okay, so this is where it is based on the evaluation side. Scenario is hard to create, but it is able to create based on Storyline. Now, of course, Storyline also allow you to produce quizzes, practices, assessment, drag and drop practices, all kinds of things that you can create. Okay, so now quizzes side, sometimes you want to accumulate your points, leveling up, then you go into another module, or you want to collect all kinds of gadgets. All these things can be done using Storyline. So right now, let me jump into the sample. Let's take a look. Hang on. Now, this sample itself is uncovering the truth. Okay, so there are 5 hidden items in the sand. First, use the metal detector to find the item locations, and that's where I click close. And then use the brush to remove the sand and uncover the facts about the ancient Egypt. Then after that, I click the close button. And once you uncover, yes, so certain things happen. And then after that, you use the brush to uncover it. And after that, you click here. So once you click again, then you uncover it and people start to learn. Okay, so these are the things that sometimes you don't just give them a straightforward answer, but they need to also explore. The next sample is interactive video. So let's go in. Now the video actually is continuing and we break it up into different modules. So this is where once you click under the first module, it will go into the video. Okay, so let's hang on. Now,
Now,
the trainer
allow
itself
me
will
to
train
share
it.
with you
Okay,
the first
so
module,
sometimes she
which is
starts with a
Introduction
teaser
to
question,
cross-selling,
sometimes she starts to
product
actually
bundling,
train
and
you.
referral.
Then this is where
What do you
cross-selling, product
understand
bundling,
about
and
cross-selling,
referral.
product
Okay,
bundling, and referral?
so this is where we actually zoom in and the recap session comes in. Now, recap session, sometimes it comes in a question base, sometimes it comes in as an additional info for them to download. So this is where you can actually produce this. Then after that, you click under the submit button. So once it's incorrect, you can try again. So let's say I just try this. I did not read it. Then, oh, it's incorrect again. So once you click continue, it continues with the video. Now, this is what we call interactive video. Okay. Now, interactive video is quite good. It's very good in a sense that it's very fast in producing. Okay, you can create this e-learning within 2 weeks. Okay, not within 1 month, but within 2 weeks. Okay. Now, the next sample is scenario-based lessons. So let's jump in. Now, scenario-based lessons is that this one is our past sample that
Finn
we
is
did.
one of
This
Athens'
is,
committed
unfinished.
employee.
So this
As an
one
Athens
is
staff,
that
he is
a
new
person
to the
actually
culture of
comes in, he talks
sustainability.
about sustainable.
He dedicates his
Okay,
time to
let me
maintain his
fast forward
performance
it,
meeting.
jump.
Downside of these
Okay,
shops is that
something
they
like
practice
this.
the use of plastic.
And
Finn
then
understands the usage of plastics
moves on into
contributes
the
a
next
deep
one.
impact.
Let me jump again and pass them certain questions. Now, the question base, definitely learners need to attempt to know what is it all about. So whether buy food with plastic bags or utilize existing containers. So if you click buy food with plastic bags, so once you click,
plastic bags are not recyclable or take many years to decompose. It is toxic to the ecosystem and causes pollution. Subsequently, this action contributes towards heat waves, natural disasters, and many other impacts of unsustainable
now, the next
behaviors.
sample is that, let me just jump into the presentation again. Now we want to move into RISE 360. RISE 360 is a web authoring software. Okay, now web authoring software meaning that you have templates ready. Okay, templates ready, that means you just feed into your content. You just bring out the template and then you can feed in whatever content that you want. There are thousands, there are hundreds of templates that you can make use, so you just make use of them and feed into your content. Now, it is also a mobile responsive, so meaning that you can play with your desktop, your mobile, or your tablet. Okay, so everything that needs is one producing only, one production, and you can play with all kinds of devices. And you can create based on the devices as well. Okay, so right now, let me showcase some samples. So these are some samples that I wanted to showcase. Okay, so some of them we created by ourselves. Let me jump in. So this is the sample that we included a video with the interaction base. So let's hang on for a while, which is basing on the internet, since it is mobile responsive and tablet responsive. Okay, so it's calling from the internet base. So sorry that it takes some time. Let's hang on. Why is it? Let me jump into another sample since it takes some time. Okay, so now this one is a scenario base. Okay, scenario base, that means this is a RISE template. So you can, if you want to create scenario, you can bring in the scenario and put in your content. Like this, are these harassing behaviors? Ron is the friendly guy in the office. He likes to make friends and often tell funny jokes. Let's see what he says to his colleagues. So once you click the continue, hey Jen, join us for dinner after work. Is this a sexual harassment or this is not a sexual harassment? Now, I cannot proceed with the next topic until I finish with the question. So this is not the sexual harassment. Then it proceeds on with the next one. You're right, this isn't sexual harassment. So it goes on from there. So now the graphics, the photographic images is from the content library. So it is from the content library. That means there are 9 million over assets. The background image you can source from content library as well, or you want to upload your own images in. That's fine. Okay, so all these things you can create within Articulate 360. Okay, now let me jump back to the scenario again. This one is not loaded yet. So let me jump back into the presentation. So sorry that it takes some time. So right now, you may be wondering, what are the training approaches? whether we are capable enough or experienced enough to train you all inside the e-learning creation. So now, right now, we base on our experience that we want to tell you our training approach. So our training approach is that we tell you what is the outcome. We show it to you, okay, what you are trying to meet based on certain tasks, okay. And then after that, we ask you certain questions. We prompt you certain questions. Now, based on that, learners will dig deep into their mind what are the questions is and how to meet the outcome itself. So sometimes they give the correct answer, sometimes they give half of the correct answer, and sometimes they give the wrong answer even. That's fine. So this is a learning process. So then after that, we pass them the workaround solutions or the solutions itself. Sometimes the solutions is not only one solution, sometimes you have several solutions. So during that time, learners will be able to learn better, and plus they are able to pose certain questions to the trainers even. So this is where they learn better, okay? And plus, after that, we will do it together. Step by step, the trainers will be able to guide them, and plus, learners will be able to ask the trainers even questions. So this is our training approach for every task that we do, okay? Now, next thing, this is our training itinerary, which is a 5 days course, okay? This is a basic training. This is a public course. So now, we have 4 days of training for storyline, and plus even 1 day, that means we train you on other suites, okay? Now, e-learning minds trainers, you are wondering who are the trainers, right? Now, whether the trainers are capable enough, so we are experienced enough, we are different. So we don't just train you on the features and functions of the software. We train you how to apply for different tasks that we train you, how to apply into your workplace, and sometimes we give you samples even. So that's what makes us different. And plus, why we are different also, we are also experienced. Why we are experienced? Because all of us are born from the content development team. So that's where we are experienced enough. We use the software to create. We train you basically based on the software itself. And then we are also supporting our customers even. Whenever you have any installation issues or even features that you wanted to use but you do not know how to make use of it, we can actually support you or consult you with that, okay? And plus, also, we share you with different samples, different templates, so that you are able to make use of all these samples within your production. Now, you may wonder also why the participant folder is so huge, which is around 2 gig in file size. So that means all of it, most of it, or 50% of it, or 60% of it is mostly templates that you can make use directly. And you can change it, okay? So no problem with that, okay? So this is our trainers differential, okay? And plus, this is our trainers. So myself is a trainer, okay? And plus, we have also Nur Faiza binti Hamdan as a trainer. She is part of the content development team right now. And plus, we also have facilitators in. Sometimes we have more than 10 participants, so that's where we require facilitators to help you, to support you as well. And these are some of our past trainings that is conducted under the virtual side. And some of it is dedicated trainings. That's where we move into their premise. And some of the trainings which are conducted within our office, okay, like this one, which is in our office, okay, and this one is a virtual training. And plus, sometimes we also have 40 participants or 80 participants, okay, under the virtual side. So this is how we conduct. Okay, so these are some of our past trainings. And plus, this training we have conducted, if not mistaken, around 1 month ago. This training is a dedicated training, so which is one of the client that came to us, they want to occupy our office in order to train all of their people, their trainers itself. So luckily there's no faces, okay, that you can recognize. So the person standing here, which is one of our facilitator, okay, yeah. Now, you may wonder what is our training flow, okay, when you enroll with us, okay. So upon you enroll with us, 1 week before or 2 weeks before the actual training date, you will get a link, okay, a link into our learning management system. What is our learning management system have is that we pass you pre-readings, introduction, Okay, now pre-readings and introduction side, we will train you how to actually install the software, the right way in installing, and plus pre-readings is that we pass you how to manage your team, the differences between the different softwares, and plus also comparison, installation, whitelisting steps as well, because some of your PCs may have security protocols. And plus, once you are finished with that, you go on into the virtual training or the face-to-face. Now, for the virtual training itself, you have also recorded sessions. Okay, so all these recorded sessions, definitely you go through to the learning management system to click in order to recap your lessons again. So now, after the lesson, after the training, we have also post readings. What are post readings? That means we pass you tips and tricks, best practices. Okay, so 1 week, we actually pass you 2 to 3 articles that you can read it from the learning management system itself. So now, all in all, you have 1 week before the training, the actual training date, during the training, and 1 month to access your training recordings itself. So you have more than the training that it needs. Okay, so during this time, you are able to ask us any questions, support, consulting, whether installation issues, whether licensing issues, or whether features and functions based on the software. No worries. Okay, so definitely we will support you. Now, then you may wonder, after we have actually explained what the trainers will do, why are we different, the training itinerary, what will you get in the end, the learner side? Okay, learners will get eLearning Minds Academy Learning Portal. That means we pass you the link, and then you'll be able to get introduction to Articulate 360, pre-readings, Articulate system specifications, Articulate 360 reference guides, virtual class recordings, Articulate post-evaluation, and Articulate tips and tricks. Okay, so this is a sample for pre-reading side. So this is where we tell you about the differences of the different softwares, installation, the management of the team. Reference guides is that it's important for you, treat it like the manual. Manual, that means sometimes we put in the videos of the outcome, the step-by-step, which is a video, or sometimes we put in step-by-step of how you can get the specific outcome itself. Okay, there are practices, there are homeworks in there as well. And plus, we pass you the files, the recordings, okay, recordings during the session that you are able to recap. And plus, also, we pass you the post-reading materials, which is the tips and tricks and best practices as well. Okay, so all those things you can get. And learners' learning outcome. Now, learners' learning outcome during the session, during the virtual class or the face-to-face session, we will train you the tips and tricks, best practices of getting the outcome or getting the solution itself. And plus, you have the recorded video as well. Recorded video, that means it depends on how learners learn. Sometimes learners learn better during the session itself, or sometimes learners learn better after the session is conducted. So it depends on how learners learn better. Or sometimes we pass you the recorded video and they view it thousands of times. So this is depending on their needs. Now, reference guides, treat it like the manual, like I said. So this one, we pass it to you and it keeps on updating, okay, because we update them, and plus based on the software updates as well. Now, certain practices during the session, we pass you certain practices. We are there, okay, during the session. So that's where you can ask us any questions so that we can entertain to you, and plus we can accommodate, we can support you after that. Now, based on the software, okay, so definitely there will be a lot of updates. Okay, now a lot of updates means that we go through the free webinar in order to update you how to make use of that feature itself to enhance your learning better, okay, to engage your learners better also. So this is where we pass you the free webinar updates, because software, there's no ending line for the updates. Okay, now after that, you may wonder, after the training, do I get help or where do I go for help? Okay, so post-training, we do support, we do consult, and we do as well coach them. So that means you need to actually, based on our business side, you can actually contact our business side for more details on this. Okay. Lastly, why you want to go for eLearning Minds for the training? Okay. Now, we are the only certified trainers in this region, which is Southeast Asia region. And next thing, we are also certified under Yukon Learning. Yukon Learning is based in the US, so Articulate is only authorized Yukon Learning as the sole party for the training provider around the world to train Articulate programs. And that's where we are certified through Yukon Learning. Okay, so this is where we are certified in Articulate. We are also certified inside Yukon Learning. And plus, we follow the syllabus based on Yukon Learning schedule. Okay, now based on that, we follow the syllabus, but we enhance the training better, and we also improve the training syllabus. So this is where to localize the training context itself. And plus, we also are the first in line for the training syllabus as well. Sometimes the software updates, we learn it first, and then we'll update you based on a webinar, or sometimes directly we can train you based on that. Okay. Now, we are also experienced inside the e-learning industry. Some of us, we are 8 years experience inside the content development. Some of us, we have 15 years of experience, and some of us is 10 years of experience. Okay, so this is where we share a lot of knowledge to you. And right now, we are also micro-credential and HRD compliant. So basically, you can go for all of this in order to choose us as your training partner. So these are some of our clients. Okay, some of them, they ask us for the e-learning softwares. Some of them, they ask us for the content development service. And some of them, they actually ask us for the platform services. Okay, some of them, they also ask us for the support and consulting services only. So some of it is that they are Singaporean companies. So they are not limited to only these clients. The room is not actually filled up. Okay, so this is where we have lots of clients right now. Okay, now, right now, I have a video interview for some of the participants. We are still collecting them. So take a look on this. Okay, so let me play it.
Oh yeah, the training was very good. The training met all my expectation actually, because I have a very basic knowledge of Articulate 360. So after going through this training with Miss Elena, I have learned valuable tips and tricks working on Articulate 360 tools. And right now I'm able to start with my brand new e-learning course that I'm going to be designing by myself. So yes, I'm very happy that I attended this training by e-learning minds.
Okay, the first thing I liked about the training was the fact that if you go into Articulate 360's e-learning heroes, right, it does give you training, right? But it doesn't share with you the entire framework of storyline per se. Okay, storyline is a huge tool by itself, right? And I like the fact that Elena framed it into the 4 areas of, slides, states, triggers, and something else. Now I forget what it is. And layers, right? So I'm familiar with layers because I use Photoshop and Illustrator.
Okay, so that's the end of the video. Okay, what do you think of their response? So which is quite good, right? Okay, so definitely we train you the approach, which is the outcome first. You can ask us any questions. Sometimes we prompt you certain questions or challenges, and that's where we provide the solution. So that is our approach for the training. So next thing is that, what are the Articulate training types? We have the standard one, which is 5 days, public course. Okay, so this one we can train you whether face-to-face or virtual class. And plus, we also have the RISE 360. Some of the users, they may want to go for RISE 360 alone. Okay, so this is where we only have 1 day of training. Okay, and plus we also have Storyline 360 Basic. That means you just want to know under Storyline, you do not want to know other suites, and you only want to know under the basic side, how to actually create interactions, and then how to actually publish them basically based on SCORM compliant and upload into your LMS. Okay, so this one is 3 days. And next thing we have is dedicated training. Dedicated training, that means we focus into the client's need, one client itself. Okay, that means you can actually contact our business side. What are your requirements? Whether they are actually good in having all these trainings. Plus, we would actually give you a certain advice. Okay, so all these trainings, definitely they are there. So now, this one is my last slide. Okay, thank you for having me, Elena Lim, to present you with all the articulate training preview. So thank you. I'll pass back the floor to Alice.
Articulate 360 Training Preview. Date 4th November, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. This training is for trainers, L&D practitioners, instructional designers, and more. We will teach you from basic to expert level, using a hands-on approach, and we will use blended learning too. Apply the skills you've learned. Articulate 360 can help with storyboard creation, and after this, you can just DIY it.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, welcome back. So now is our Q&A session, and we have questions posted from the participants, and we are going to cover some of the questions. So let's start on the first questions. All right, so for lecturers, is this training suitable for us? We don't have the experience of creating e-learning content, Elena.
Yeah. So a lot of people are wondering whether lecturers are suitable, even tutors are suitable, I can say. So we have trained even institutions, institutions as well as education parties. So that's where they are able to actually make use of e-learning, the software itself, to create their own e-learning for lectures, for even tutors. And plus, sometimes they make use of the articulate software itself to create the lectures itself, and they train them using that. So that is how it is useful and beneficial to them.
So meaning that do they need to like have a certain skills, meaning that is this very complex that they want to use this software?
Not really. Basically, you just need PowerPoint skills.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
So basically, I believe that all the lectures or the tutor sessions that you already have the PowerPoint slides. So that's where you are versatile inside the PowerPoint, right? So that's all you need, basically.
Oh, okay. So meaning that we have a PowerPoint, meaning the PPT skills, then we are good enough to use the
Yes, definitely. And PowerPoint also, you can actually import into articulate storyline.
Oh, that's cool. That's
so
cool.
that fast tracks your production time.
That's good. That's good. All right. Thanks for sharing. And next, let's move on to the next questions. Yeah, I think I should ask this
you
question.
have already answered.
Is there any skills required to attend this training?
Basically, you just need PowerPoint skills. Just wanted to add is that PowerPoint skills, that means you need to also know how to copy, paste, and sometimes you know how to create animations, transitions, and that's it. Okay, because storyline looks like PowerPoint. Some people actually say PowerPoint is like, not to say PowerPoint, storyline is like PowerPoint with steroids. Okay, so it's even more powerful that you can have. Yeah.
So do we need to have something like a skills like, video editing, those kind of the skills?
Not necessary, because the article suite itself, you have the replay, okay, we train you under the basic of the video skills itself. Yeah.
I see.
So that's where we actually train you under the video skills, even the, the graphic side. Graphic side, we definitely introduce to you all the free softwares under the graphic side. So this is where sometimes you may engage with us for all these things. Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's move on to the next questions. Do I need to get the license first before I join the training?
Okay. You may also consider to get the license first. Okay. License first, that means you can install it, you use the license, then you go through the training. But it's not necessary, because some of them, they actually join us for the training. After the training, then only they get the license, which is fine. Why we say that is because when you actually sign up for Articulate, it has 30 days trial. Okay.
Wow.
30 days trial, and plus during the 30 days trial, you can make use of all the features inside the Articulate suite to produce your own content. There is no watermark.
Oh, do they have any limitation or restriction? No, I mean in terms of the function feature side.
No,
oh,
there's
really?
no limitation. So you can make use of all of it to produce your content during the trial period.
Wow, that's cool. So meaning that we can even attend the training, may not necessarily need to own the license first. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, let's move on to the next questions. All right, do you have any recommendations on the device specs for us to develop content? Yeah.
So recommendation is that you can go through to find it inside the internet. Okay. Storyline or Article 360 system specifications. Those are the minimum specs in order to create your content. Then some of the devices that they recommend is that the software recommendation, okay, to view it and to create the content. So these are the things that we recommend, but because this is only for articulate, okay, so sometimes you have other softwares that works concurrently. So that means we recommend or suggest you to double up the system specifications itself. Yeah. So that you work well, better, that means smoother in that transition.
I see.
Yeah.
It makes also triggered with the questions that I personally would like to ask.
Yes.
Does this support like tablets, this kind of the devices?
Yes, it does. Because only one producing, that means you only create once, you produce it, you can view it through tablet, mobile, as well as desktop. You can also make use of mobile and tablet to create your content.
Okay, that's cool. So meaning I can even create with my tablets,
Yes.
iPad or something.
Of course, there are some limitations to that, okay? But best one is to use the desktop, definitely.
Understand. All right, thanks for that. And let's move on to the next questions. Okay, so what is the differences between Storyline 3 and Articulate 360?
Yeah, I often get this question. They are wondering what is the difference. Now, the difference is that Articulate 360 is a subscription base. Okay, subscription base. That means they subscribe to 1 year subscription, while Storyline 3 is a perpetual license. That means once they purchase, it belongs to the clients already. Now, then Articulate 360, you have 8 different softwares. Okay, and plus Storyline 3 is only one software. Okay, Articulate 360 is the latest software, and plus Articulate 360 you have even content library, the course assets, then you have different triggers, more variables, and plus different features, if not mistaken, and plus also publishing side, you can publish into review, okay, in order to gather the your stakeholders feedback. Storyline 3, you cannot publish into review.
Oh, I see.
So there are limited functions inside Storyline 3. Now, just want to add on to it. Storyline 3 side and Articulate 360 for Storyline 360, you are able to open 2 different files. Okay, so if you are using Storyline 3, you can upgrade to Storyline 360. If you have happened to have Storyline 360 as your file, you can use Storyline 3 to open up Storyline 360 as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, so that's the good thing.
That's good. So if that's the case, it triggers me with the next question is that, so meaning that Articulate, you mentioned that it's more like a whole suite and Storyline 3 is more like a standalone. So if let's say comparing with these 2 licenses, I mean like the software for Storyline 360 that you mentioned earlier and Storyline 3, so what is the differences between these 2 then? Is it, is it the function features, it will be the same, the publishing kind of method?
I think 80% is about the same, just that they add on to it. Okay, so that's where you are able to open from Storyline 3, you open up Storyline 360. Okay, plus you can make use of other softwares inside the Articulate suite, let's say under the video replay side, or you want to record using the PIC, or sometimes you want to make use of Studio 360 to import into it, or you want to make use of web authoring. Okay, so that's the main difference.
I see. Wow, thank you very much for the sharing. All right, I think this is our last questions for today, and I'm sorry if let's say we can't cover any of your questions, but our team will respond to your questions separately. So once again, thank you, Elena.
Thank you
for your great sharing today, and I hope all of you have a better insights towards Articulate 360. Okay, so all right, so our webinar is close to the end, and before that I have a few announcements to be made. So firstly, you will get an email from us to share about your feedback. Also, do let us know if there are any of the topics you hope to join in the future. And next, our upcoming webinar topics will be nurturing minds in virtual world. And this webinar is presented by Intel and eLearning Minds. If you would like to know more, just visit our website at www.elearningminds.com. Well, this webinar is a wrap, and I hope that you had a great session with us today, and we see you on our next webinar. Bye!